Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? We're live again. Stuart here from Spain Speaks. Live stream, 7:34 p.m. Spain mainland time. 6:30, of course, in the Canary Islands, more or less. 6:34 p.m. in the Canaries. And again, live with some of the news that has caught my attention today. Also, some of the comments that have been left on videos recently. And we'll also dive into the chat section to see what is happening there. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Sunday. The weather is good and getting ready for a beginning of the week tomorrow. Now, into the chat section straight away. Plenty of activity there. Tony coming in, saying that he enjoyed the Menú del Día video, finding more out about Dave. And coming in is Tony from Gran Alicante. Thank you very much, Tony, on the cards to have more of these videos, let's say, eating at the different Menú del Día places around the country, trying to find a bargain, trying to find some food that stands out from the rest. And the two that we have been to so far, quite good in my opinion. One was €11, as we know. The other was the other day around $13.80. I think was the $13.85. I think was the price that we paid for that meal. Gino coming in. He has been to Bilbao and Valladolid, enjoyed the food and wine there. Some of the shorts videos that I've been putting out recently, YouTube now gives you the opportunity to go through the previous videos that have been posted and turn them into shorts. So that's what I'm doing. So the content is, it's not fresh content. I haven't been to Valladolid recently or Bilbao recently. It's not fresh content, but new shorts videos, putting them out there on YouTube. And one more comment coming in here from Elaine, asking about whether we gave a tip. Now I'll come back to this comment in a minute, but tipping in Spain, I'll put the debate out there for the chat section today. Do you leave a tip? How much do you leave? Because some people here in Spain leave a small tip. Some people don't leave any tip at all. So I'll get the viewer feedback on the tips, and I'll come back to Elaine's comment in a minute. Now, the first piece of news today, we'll get straight into it. This one here, and it's about the Mediterranean countries calling for a mandatory burden sharing of migration. The interior ministers of the Mediterranean countries that make up the so-called Med5 group, Spain, Italy, Greece, Cyprus and Malta, have advocated a compulsory distribution of migrants in view of the fact that the voluntary solution has not improved the situation of frontline countries. At a meeting on Saturday in the Cypriot province of Paphos, the interior ministers also reinforced their position that a key instrument in managing migration is cooperation with the countries of origin and transit. In this context, the Spanish minister, or the Spanish interior minister or home minister, Fernando Grande Marlaska, stressed that southern European countries are already cooperating closely with third countries in order to offer assistance to prevent their nationals from having to leave their homes. So the topic of migration into the EU on the cards again, on the table again, and as we can see here, Spain, Italy, Greece, Spain, Italy, Greece, Cyprus and Malta getting together and trying to, as we can see here, a compulsory distribution of migrants in the European Union, because people are not going to stop coming to places like the European Union, and everybody knows that. But the countries that are on the front line, countries on the Mediterranean there, Spain, for example. Don't know whether Portugal was included there. I don't think it was. Spain, Italy, Greece, Cyprus, Malta, obviously taking their problems to the European Union to share some of the responsibility and not having it all fall on the countries in the south of Europe, which, let's be honest, are sometimes stretched for resources. And Spain has a double problem when it comes to this migration phenomenon because of the two territories that it has there in the north of Africa. So, Spain in particular, hoping that a solution can be found there. Now, I'll just put the little like icon on the screen here. So if you haven't hit that like button, please do so just there, just below the video. Also, you can find the like button. Hit it, please, if you have not done so. We're up to 27 likes, 105 people watching, so not a bad ratio there. Now, I'll just come back to Elaine's comment. Did I leave a tip? Well, the fact of the matter is, Elaine, that I don't think I left the tip the other day simply because I didn't have any spare change in my pocket. Normally, if I have change in my pocket or if I pay the bill in cash, if there's 80 cents, a euro, 120, 150, depending on how much the meal cost, I will leave a tip. I normally leave tips here in Spain, even if I have a coffee, 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents sometimes. And restaurant meal, for example, if it's a 30 euro bill, probably around 120, 150, depending. The tipping culture here is a bit hit and miss. Some people leave tips. Some people don't leave any tip at all. You can only go to any bar or restaurant and realize that maybe a few coins are left in the tray at the end of the meal. But in general, Spain is not a huge tipping country, and waiters, wait staff don't expect a tip, in my opinion. It's not the United States, but some people, do leave a tip. As I said before, people are free to leave a tip, and as I said, normally I do, but not a huge amount of money, Elaine, to answer that question. Not similar to the United States, in my opinion. But if anybody disagrees, please, in the chat section, let me know your customs when it comes to tipping. Janet coming in from Oxford in the UK. Hello, Janet. Hope all is well. Alan coming in from San Diego. Should be in El Puerto de Santa Maria, but some medical issues. 22 but cloudy. Hope all is well, Alan. Hope you get better soon and back to El Puerto de Santa Maria. Mark coming in. Enjoyed the Menú del Dia video as well. Oh, sorry, we saw that one before from Elaine. That's not the one. This one here from Mark. Thank you very much, Mark, for enjoying that one. Thank you very much. And Ken coming in from Pozuelo de Alarcón, on the opposite side to me, where it's quite nice. Yeah, in the Madrid community today, Ken, decent weather indeed. Not too hot, not too cold, a bit overcast, and a pleasant day here in Madrid. A pleasant day. Thank you very much, Ken, for that. Now, the second piece of news today, let's have a look, is this one here. Spain launches hate crime inquiry over dorm sex threat video. Spanish prosecutors on Friday launched a hate crime investigation into male students whose choreographed misogynist outburst from their dormitory towards a neighbouring all-girls residence outraged the nation. A video from last weekend's incident went viral on social media, though it was later downplayed by some female residents. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez told reporters in Prague that the footage demonstrated inexplicable, unjustified and absolutely repugnant behaviour that could not be tolerated. The Madrid Regional Prosecutor's Office said that it has asked police for information after a Spanish NGO, Movement Against Intolerance, launched a formal complaint against residents of Madrid's Elias Auja student dorm for a suspected hate crime. So, now if you're not familiar with this story here in Spain, it's been dominating the press over the last week or so. And basically it happened, as we saw there, in a student residence in Madrid. There are two buildings. One is a male residence. One is a female residence. They are opposite to each other. And apparently, as we saw, it was like a choreographed abuse session, let's say. Men yelling abuse at the women in the dorm in front. And the women, of course, yelling back their abuse as well. And some of the comments were quite ugly, but as we saw there, it got to the highest level, the Prime Minister weighing in on the problem, and of course NGOs and a lot of women's groups, for example, outraged by this, and some people saying that it was a student prank. I don't know exactly what happened, but it's going to be investigated, as we saw there, by the National Police because of that report that was made by the Movement Against Intolerance. So a serious hate crime for some. For others, it's a student prank. I don't really know where I sit because I'm not fully up to speed on the issue. But as I said here, some people were seriously outraged by it, the misogynist language that was being used. But other people say that the girls in the other dorm were throwing back their own abuse. So I don't know where we're at with that story. But anyway, we'll see what happens if it does go further. But this type of activity still, unfortunately, with younger generations, and I think that's the main problem. If you see older generations here do it, because you see it on a daily basis, walking down the street, men wolf whistling at women or sometimes yelling abuse. But when it happens with the younger generations, the younger educated generations, that's when it makes the press like this, because people are outraged by the behaviour. Now, back into the chat section. I'll just put the little like icon back on the screen again. 1 minute. I'll just turn off my WhatsApp as well, just in case messages come through. Like button back on the screen. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. There we go. And just hit the like button to keep me motivated as we go through the live stream here today, Sunday. Now, back into the chat section. What's happening? Kathleen, back from Benidorm, where they ate at all Spanish bars. That's probably the key to Benidorm, eating at the Spanish restaurants. Lovely, freshly cooked meals, at least half the price of the UK, so cheap as well. Good to see, Kathleen, that you enjoyed your time down there in Benidorm. And I imagine that this time of the year in Benidorm, a wonderful place to be. All right, saludos desde Orlando, says Jay. Temperatures finally consistently in the low to mid-80s Fahrenheit. Thanks for the Celsius conversion there, 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Grant coming in from Seattle. Hello, Grant. Hope all is well there today up there in Asturias. Christina coming in from New York. Beautiful day there as well. Thank you very much, Christina. So the weather is good from what I can see. And Erica coming in today, the only day that she can join being a teacher, of course, Erica. So good to see you in the chat section, Erica. Thanks for joining. Now, third piece of news. Let's have a look at this one here. Spanish house prices reach highest level in a decade. The average asking price for Spanish homes rose to 2,011 euros per square metre in September, the highest level since May 2012, as buyers look to make purchases before further increases in mortgage rates. Prices climbed 6.3% compared to the same month a year earlier, the biggest annual increase since April 2019, according to figures published by the property website Fotocasa yesterday. It has been 3.5 years since we've had such a large year-on-year increases, said Maria Matos, Director of Studies at Fotocasa. This is the reflection of an increasingly reduced supply and a hasty purchase demand, trying to avoid the harshness of the rate hike in the second half of the year. So there we go. Just drink some water. So Spanish prices, house prices, the highest level in a decade, more than 2,000 euros per square metre on average, which is high. Because let's say if you're looking for a 100 square metre home, over 200,000 euros you will be paying. And an interesting fact that I also saw the other day related to this article, the same person was giving an interview on the television, and she also said that the average age now for the first home buyer in Spain is 40 years of age, the average for the first home buyer, which I thought it was a bit late in life to be buying a first home. But as we know, youth in Spain have trouble getting on the property market. High prices, not very high salaries, job insecurity for the first 5 to 8 years of their working lives. So until they get all of that sorted out and they get the opportunity to buy homes, they're hitting the 40 years of age mark, which I'm not sure how that compares to other countries, but it seemed quite high. So another difficult thing for Spanish youth to get onto the property market, unfortunately. But anyway, prices continue to rise. So good news for existing home buyers, because their homes are quite high in value at the moment, but not easy for young people or anybody really to get onto the property market here in Spain with that 2,000 euro plus price per square metre, quite high. All right, now back into the chat section. Mugga's coming in from El Campello. Hello, Mugga. Hope all is well. Stephen coming in from Jerez de la Frontera, down there in Cádiz, the home of sherry wine. Canadian World War II historian UK coming in from southeast London. Say hello to Anne from southeast London. That's Anne obviously there. Pat coming in from a foggy Galicia, weather most likely changing up in that part of Spain. I imagine the north-west things starting to change. Marion coming in from San Diego. Hello, Marion. Hope all is well there today. And Dave coming in from Madrid, St. Pete de Madrid. Feliz Domingo. Practicing his Spanish there is Dave. All right, hope all is well. Now, let's have a look at the next piece of news today, which is a recurring theme on this channel. Indoor marijuana, the green stain covering Granada and extending throughout Andalusia. A 77-year-old man and a 58-year-old woman arrested. A marijuana production centre in Monachil dismantled and 400 grams of drugs ready for sale. This is the result of the latest operation carried out in the province of Granada by the Guardia Civil. The action is part of the so-called Green Bed operation, and almost at the same time, the National Police seized around 12,000 marijuana plants during the inspection of a building in the capital in the northern area. In addition to the plants, the agents found that 41 of the 44 homes on the block, I'll repeat that, 41 of the 44 homes on the block had illegal connections to the electricity grid. Operations like these have long since ceased to be exceptional, first in the capital of Granada, especially in the northern district, and later throughout the province, where the cultivation, trafficking and distribution of marijuana has spread unstoppably in recent years. So not only in Granada, but extending throughout Andalusia, people taking advantage of the, well, I was going to say the weather, but we're looking at indoor marijuana growing here. So people turning their spare rooms into growing rooms. And as we saw there, that strange figure of 41 of the 44 homes on the block being used or had illegal connections to the electricity grid, and no doubt growing inside those homes as well. Because, as we know here in Spain, there's a bit of a legal loophole which is difficult for a lot of people to understand. Cultivating marijuana is illegal. Not allowed to sell marijuana. It's completely legal. Whether you're allowed to smoke it, it's another story. Not sure. But you can go to a shop called a grow shop. You'll see these all over Spain. Grow shop, English word, grow shop. And you can buy seeds. You can buy marijuana seeds, no problem. You can buy 3, you can buy 10, you can buy 20, you can buy 50. You can buy enough for a whole room if you want. But it is illegal for that seed to germinate and to become a plant. But people don't pay any attention to that law. Buy the soil or the hydroponics or whatever they use, hook their house up to the electricity grid, and away they go, and they become drug dealers, basically. And as we can see, the problem's getting worse and worse. And as we saw in that article there, it's long ceased to be exceptional. Now it's part of the norm that these houses are taking place. In fact, very close to where I live, there's an area called the Cañada Real, and they've been without electricity now for years because of these illegal grow houses. They were all hooked up to the electricity grid. Nobody was paying for the electricity, and of course, I don't know how much it costs to light that amount of a huge amount of plants inside, but obviously sucking the electricity out of the grid into those homes, and the electricity companies just turned off electricity to the area, and they have been without electricity now for years, as I said, because of people that were growing illegal marijuana crops in their home. So very, very common thing nowadays in Spain. And as we also saw in that article there, 400 grams of the drugs ready for sale. Now, not sure what the street price is for this, but what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 euros a gram. So we're looking at a fair bit of cash for 400 grams of the stuff. And I'll ask the question, why don't the politicians do something about this and get the black market out of it, get the illegal activity out of it, and move on with this substance? That's what I'm asking. That's the question that I'm asking today. I know I'll have people that agree with me. I know people won't agree with me. But I think, when you see stories like this constantly, and people now accept this to be the norm, that people plug into the electricity grid illegally, do these things, sell drugs illegally on the black market, there's a problem. So I think something has to be done. That's my rant for the day. Now, I'm going to change the background. Let's have a look. I'm going to go to a picture from Tim. This one is Barcelona at night. As we can see there in the background, the sun setting over Barcelona, and a nice reflection off the water, nice coloured sky. Thank you very much for that photo, Tim. And some nice, as I said, a nice sunset over Barcelona. Now we're up to 87 likes. I'll just put the little like icon back on the screen. So if you haven't hit it, please do so, just below. There it is there. I'll just get it there. Please hit the like button below. Thank you very much. Now, next piece of news today. Let's have a look. Well, it's not a piece of news. I think it's the first comment for today. Let's have a look. I'll just get on to it now. And, oh no, it's Spanish word of the day. Spanish word of the day. Guay, meaning cool, is the Spanish word of the day. And what it means is, well, you can see what it means. It means cool. If something is cool, it is guay. And the example that we have here is, ¿Te gustó el concierto? Sí, fue muy guay. It was a cool concert. And ¿Qué coche más guay? ¿Es nuevo? Yes, it is. So guay. And you'll hear this a fair bit amongst the younger generations in Spain, this word guay. And as we can see here, it means cool. So that's the Spanish word of the day. And if you have a word of the day, don't forget to send it in to me. It's spainspeaks@gmail.com. And also, if you want to have a photo, or if you have a photo of Spain that you would like to see in the background, please send it into that same email address, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Somebody the other day said that they don't like the backgrounds. It's too distracting. But I think it's a good add to the channel, in my opinion. So I'm going to keep on doing it. Well, as long as people send the photos in, that is. All right, good. Now, Prasen coming in. Northeast US, perfect time to join, he says. Thank you very much for that, Prasen. Beth coming in from Cartagena down there in Murcia. Hello, Beth. Hope all is well. Erica saying that love the Valladolid tour update. Thank you very much for that, Erica. Zane coming in from New Zealand, an old friend. He's using my old nickname that people used to call me back in the day, Wazza. Hello, Zane. Hope all is well down there in Auckland. Must be fairly early in the morning as well, so up bright and early today, Zane. Good to see. Samer coming in saying that he likes the videos. Let's put this one up. And I go to Spain once a year, so this is a visiting restaurants is a great guide to see how inflation and things have changed. Still better than our prices in the US. So there we go. So what did we pay for that meal the other day? Around $13.70 or $13.80 for the meal. Previous one around $11. So still affordable, I would say, for a 3-course meal. And when you eat a big meal at lunch, you don't need a big dinner. So that is a win-win. All right, what else we got going on here? Miguel flying into Alicante next week. Any place to eat a menú del día there? Don't know, Miguel, but plenty of people from Alicante in the chat section. So if you've got any advice for Miguel in the chat section, please leave it. What else we got going on here? Jason coming in from Wolverhampton. Another regular viewer is Jason. And Philip coming in from an overcast but warm Malaga, heading back to Sussex until early November. So, yeah, back to the UK. All right, good. But back to Spain again early November, I imagine, Philip. So I hope all goes well with that trip. Now, let's have a look at the first comment of the day. Let's see if it's this one here from Pierre, who says that he only had a basic education and still did all right. But then I didn't expect to go to university. I expected and wanted to go to work. As for populations leaving the country and moving to cities, the problem is lack of children. We aren't having enough to fill rural schools and sustain the economy and thus pensions. And that's the problem basically in Spain and a lot of these rural areas. Not enough young people to sustain services like schools, because people move to cities looking for opportunities. They want better opportunities for their kids. So they move to not only to big cities like Madrid, but if you're in a place like Asturias, maybe you move to Oviedo, the capital city there. If you're in Galicia, maybe you move to Vigo or Lugo City or Coruña, or one of those places where there are more jobs than in the smaller towns. And of course, the schools close, the services close, and no youth, no life in those places. And the economic incentives that some towns in Spain are trying to use to get people to move there. One place in Asturias, I think Ponga was the name, 3,000 euros cash if you move there, and more if you have kids when you were there. So I imagine that there are schools in that area, but they want to try and keep those services available for the population and not go down the path of a lot of other villages here which have basically disappeared. It's been going on for a long time now. It's nothing new. But now it's become a political platform, and that's what they're trying to bring life back to these places. And Pierre also says here that only a basic education. We saw that the other day, that 26 or 27% of Spanish youth don't finish high school, get to year 12. They drop out at the end of year 10, I think, when they're 15 or 16. And a lot of them don't go into trades or anything like that. They end up being known as the ni-nis, the ni estudian ni trabajan, and the Spanish average is a lot higher than other OECD countries and other European Union countries when it comes to this group of young people that drop out of school early. So it is a bit of a problem, but yeah, having a university education is not everything, as I'm sure a lot of people will attest to. It doesn't, there are opportunities, I think, maybe not in Spain, but in other countries there are for people that don't get through. And, for example, if you get pushed in the right direction of a trade, for example, as we mentioned the other day, maybe somebody recognizes that you have a talent for, manual labor, for example, rather than studying. But those things have to be worked out early in a person's educational life, I think. All right, good. We're up to 104 likes. I'll just put the little like icon back on the screen again, just below the video. If you have not hit the like button, please do so. It will keep me motivated for the next 15 minutes or so as I go through some comments. Now, back into the chat section. I'll change the backdrop. So we'll leave sunny Barcelona there and we'll go to Mallorca now. Let's have a look at this one. This is from Angela. And another sunset from Palma de Mallorca, I believe, or somewhere on Mallorca. Don't know exactly where it is, but we can see another sunset there and an appropriate backdrop for the time of the day that we have here in Spain, the sun going down. All right, back into the chat section. Mick coming in from Moreira, another regular viewer. Mick, hope all is well down there, Mick. Let's have a look. Prassen's got back to us on leaving a tip. A few euros, depending on the number of people total of the bill. There we go. Yeah, probably a lot easier, Prassen, if there's 4 or 5 people at the table. 50 cents each, €2, $2.50. So more acceptable, I think, in that sense. I've never seen anybody leave a big tip in Spain. Maybe once I saw somebody leave a €20 tip, but again, it wasn't a person from Spain. It was a foreigner here who had a good meal and decided to reward the waitstaff with a €20 tip, which is a big tip at a normal restaurant here in Spain. All right, Erica also adding to the tipping debate. Service is good, 10%. All right, there we go. So a percentage for Erica. John coming in from a recent holiday to Spain. Back in the UK, the weather was perfect in Spain. The food and wine as good as ever. Already booked for next year. There we go. Back again next year, John. Hope all is well there back in the UK. All right, what else we got going on here? Miguel always leaves a 10% tip in any country, Spain, UK, or USA. There we go, 10% also from Miguel. What else we got going on? Angela coming in from a wet Cork. Enjoyed the Menú del Día video. Thank you very much, Angela, for that. A few people seem to enjoy that video. Pat coming in also from Galicia, as we saw before, with a statement here. This migration article reminds me of what's happening in the US with forced busing of migrants to states with democratic governors. The same thing happens in Spain, Pat. Not so much adult migrants, children migrants are put on buses here in Spain, down in the south, and sent to different capital cities around Spain. So it happens everywhere. It's a problem which is in a lot of the Northern European countries especially. Zane from New Zealand. Recently in Hawaii, didn't tip as much as expected in the restaurants. Service was lacking. That's probably a reason why not to tip, Zane. Absolutely. Because menus and ordering on QR codes, less human contact. There we go. A result of COVID most likely. Probably. That's what's happening in Spain as well. Every restaurant you go to now has a QR code that you scan to see what the menu is. And I'm sure that's the case in a lot of places as well. But the human contact between the waiters and the staff is coming back to restaurants, of course, as we move on from COVID, although a couple of people that I know are with COVID at the moment and a little bit sick. So I'll say hope they get well soon. All right, what else we got going on? Keith coming in from Birmingham, back in Spain soon will be Keith. Hope all goes well with that move back here, Keith. Philip coming in with his dad from Northumberland in England. Recently had a birthday, did Harry. I think it was 94 or 95, if I remember correctly. Hope all is well there. And Elaine went to breakfast today. Restaurants are charging a fee if you use your credit card, so paid in cash, and a cash tip to the waitress. Obviously easier to leave a cash tip if you're paying in cash, but nowadays the credit card has crept in to our daily lives, and a lot less people moving about with cash. All right, good. Now another comment. Let's have a look from Glee Smee. $10 million or 10 million euros is hardly super wealthy. Yeah, well, depends where you are. Here in Spain, I wouldn't mind having 10 mil in the bank, and I would consider myself super wealthy if I had that amount. Maybe in some countries 10 million euros is not super wealthy, but here in Spain it's a fair bit of cash. Considering this, the change focuses on increasing deductions for workers earning less than 21,000 euros a year. 50% of the total workers in Spain. It exclusively benefits those who are most in need of public aid at the moment, the Finance Minister Montero defended. So, according to the statement of the Finance Minister last week related to tax cuts for people earning less than 21,000 euros a year, 50% of the total workers in Spain. So imagine if you had 10 million euros in your bank account, you would be on top of the world in this country. Because 50% of the working population, according to that, I haven't been able to verify the statement or not through any other data, but the Finance Minister the other day said that 50% of the workers in Spain are on less than 21,000 a year. That is who that tax benefit is going to benefit. So when you look at that number, 10 million is a lot of money. A lot of money. All right, good. Now, back into the chat section there. Let's see. Madcap coming in from La Nucia. Don't know where that is. Let us know. La Nucia. Gino coming on. Gino tips, and it varies depending on the bill, but he knows some Spaniards that don't. Yeah, I know some Spaniards that don't tip either, believe me. A lot of people, as I said before, reluctant to tip, but I consider myself a great tipper, Gino, but at least 80 cents, a euro, 1.50, depending on the loose change that I've got in my pocket when my son's not taking it for something else. All right, good. Now, what else we got going on here? Bill, coming in from New York, feeling cool at night. Yeah, it's starting to feel cool everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere, I think. It's people in New Zealand that are going into their summer months. Lucky them. What else we got going on? Brian here, coming in from La Marina in Alicante. Enjoyed seeing the menu video. Looked tasty. Maybe you and Dave should have worn a couple of hats with corks dangling. Yeah, Australian-style corks on the hat there, Brian, to keep the flies out of your face. Exactly, because they were terrible the other day. But I think it's the continuation of the good weather which has kept the flies around. But they were a real pain the other day. Angela went to celebrate a birthday. Service charge of 132 euros added onto the bill. Was that in Spain, Angela? Wow, it's a lot added onto the bill. Service charges. Haven't seen that here in Spain yet. Tony saying that 10% of the service is good in the UK and Spain. There we go, around 10% if you like the service. So we're getting to the bottom of the tipping debate, which is good to see. And Steppenwolf back after 2 weeks in Serón, Andalusia, back in Dorset, sunny and 16 degrees today. There's a lot of people back in the UK from their summer or their Spain sojourn. All right, and City Fan coming in from Barcelona. Hello, City Fan. Hope all is well there today in the Barcelona city. Any football games going on? Not sure where Barcelona Football Club is playing this weekend, but I know that Real Madrid is playing away. Atletico played at home, so not sure where Barcelona is playing this weekend, whether it is away or whether it is at home. Now, we're up to 128 likes. I'll put the little like icon on the screen there, so if you haven't hit the like icon, please do so just below the video. We'll see if we can get up to 150 likes for today's video. 6 minutes left. Now, I'm going to change the background picture. So I'll put on another one that I have here from Bill in Alicante, which Alicante is always a popular destination for the pics. One of the more popular destinations here in Spain for people that spend their holidays. And we have a fantastic beach here with some nice flowers in the foreground as well. Typical beach flowers that you get here, very close to the water and the dunes, and a nice beach there, but not much of a beach left from what I'm looking at here. And I'm sure when the storms come in the winter, there is no sand left at all on that beach. But anyway, now what else we got going on? Robert coming in from Vancouver, Canada. A little late today, regular viewer. Interesting info and really enjoyed your exploration of the menus del dia. There's going to be more exploring going on with the menus, Robert. I'm busy searching for the next place. This week might be a bit difficult because it's a public holiday here on Wednesday. It's the Dia de la Hispanidad, or the Spanish National Day, if you like. In some places it's called the Pilar Day. The 12th of October, public holiday nationwide. So it doesn't matter where you are in Spain, it is a public holiday. So this week it might be a little bit difficult to do the old Menú del Dia video, but there'll be another one coming soon. Thank you very much for liking that. What else we got going on? City Fan, tipping. Let's have a look. What is better than a tip in Spain? When you, for a coffee, bring back cup, make it easy for the staff of the establishment. Made a few friends this way as well. So instead of a tip, taking the cup back to the service area. There we go. Not tipping, but helping the wait staff out is City Fan or Daryl there in Barcelona. What else we got here? A little from column A, also tipping in the UK, splitting the bill, round up to the nearest note per person, and the extra is the tip. Yeah, that's happened here on a few occasions, especially if you go and have lunch with a big group of people. You round up, let's say, for example, if it's 19 euros per head, round it up to 20, and the spare change that's left on the table for the wait staff. Yeah, absolutely. Good idea. Joe El Bombero coming in from New Jersey, around 20 degrees there today. Hello, Joe. Hope all is well. What else we got going on here? Erica, let's have a look at this one here. When I went to school in the UK, there was a subject called home economics. I remember my teacher saying that when buying or renting, you should never go over 1/3 of your income. Yeah, I think we all learnt that, Erica. That was the general rule of thumb back in the day, that you shouldn't pay more than 1/3 for a rent. But of course, here in the big cities in Spain, you basically throw that rule completely out the window if you want to rent a place on your own, because what are you talking, over 1,000 euros for an apartment nowadays. That'd be a fairly good apartment, I imagine, for 1,000, but it's a fair chunk of your salary. You'd have to be making around 3,000 euros to be able to afford that, which is a lot of money here in Spain, especially if you're only on 21,000 a year. So a lot of money there. But that was the rule back when people studied home economics. Do people still study that at school? I don't know. I know that in Australia, kids study cooking and home economics and all of those things to help them when they get out of school, and to learn those basic rules like how much rent should you be paying. But does it still exist? I don't know. What else we got going on? Patrick's late again. No problem, Patrick. Hope all is well. What else we got going on here? Miguel, home economics did not exist as a subject in the Spanish elementary education in the 80s. Not sure whether it exists nowadays. My son doesn't learn anything along those lines. Nothing at all. Spend a lot of time on geography, I'll tell you that. But they don't learn anything about that. All right, what else we got going on here? City Fan, so many terraces and balconies have weed plants on them in Barcelona. There we go. Of course, you just go to a grow shop, buy your seeds, and away you go. Stick them on your terrace or your balcony, and you've got your yearly supply, if that's the way it works. Let's see, what else we got going on? Barcelona, Ciudad de Porretas. Thank you very much for that, Miguel. Porreta is person that smokes hashish or marijuana. Porreta. What else we got going on here? How is Malaga for New Year's? Asked Joe. Well, I spent one New Year's in Malaga, Joe, and absolutely fantastic. The weather was fantastic. I was just walking around in a light sweater or light jumper. Nights were quite nice as well. Fantastic weather the time that I was there. can't guarantee that it would be like that every year. You might get a cold snap, but in general, Malaga is a place that I would recommend for New Year's, Joe, if that is on your plans. All right, what else we got going on? Pricing coming in. Perfect Sunday for him is watching football, Premier League and La Liga, along with this live video. So we've already got 3 screens going on at the moment, Prasen. Good to see. And Remy coming in from Catalonia, Sant Feliu in Catalonia. Hello, Remy. Hope all is well. Now we're up to the 40-minute mark. Going to have to cut it short in a minute. So we'll have a look at one more piece of news here today. And I'll just get this one out of the way. This one here. Anna, hi Stu, you incorrectly said billion twice instead of millions regarding pension increases in Spain. Yeah, I said billions because the figure was thousands of millions, Anna. And what happens here in Spain is that, and we'll see this here in a minute, and I'll just put this out there. I've mentioned this on 2 or 3 occasions over the time because other people have said that I've got my numbers wrong. But basically, the English billion, 1,000 million, is not equivalent to the Spanish billón, which is 1 million millions. So it's recommended not to confuse the two. Now, a lot of the press here in Spain, they talk in thousands of millions. So, for example, they'll say 50,000 million, which in English translates, if you use the American billion, translates into 50 billion, okay? And the other day, the figure was something like 190,000 million, which is going to be spent on pensions. And people questioning that figure, obviously. It's not hundreds of millions. I think it's in the billions. It's 190 billion. So the Spanish expense on pensions is around 12.5-13% of GDP, which is going to go up next year. So 12.5% of Spanish GDP, which is in the trillions, 1 point something trillion US dollars, 12% of that works out to be around 150 billion and going up to 190 billion. But when you read the press here, they always talk in thousands of millions. So you'll see 6,000 million, which is 6 billion. And that's the way the press reports things here. Because as we saw there, the Spanish billion is a million millions. And in English, or at least in Australia and in the States, I know, not sure in the UK whether they changed, but I imagine they have, that 1,000 millions is a billion, but in Spain, a million millions is a billion. So there's a big difference between the two. But when you read the Spanish press, you'll see 6,000 million, which is 6 billion. Okay, so that's the explanation there. All right, good. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Plenty of chat going on in the comment section. I'm going to finish now, so I'm not going to go through too many. Diablo telling us the price of hashish, which was 50 cents a gram back in 2010. Not sure what the price is nowadays, Diablo, but thanks for that. If anybody else has a more updated price. Grow your own dope, plant a man. There we go. Good advice there from Alan. Why the Paraguay? That's exactly right. The word of the day that we saw before, why. Now, on that note, I'm going to wrap the live stream up today. Thank you, everybody, for your participation in the chat. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow with a regular video, hopefully, if nothing goes wrong between now and then. A new video should be out. More shorts videos will be coming as well. These little short 30, 35-second videos about different things. So check out those as well. We'll take a walk down memory lane with some of those videos. And again, another live stream on Tuesday. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching today. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces.